Hello, I'm Corinna Howard.
And I'm Ned Howard.
And this is the Monday Night Review. Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 138, I think, of the Monday Night Review. We are somewhere a little bit different this week. I have bunked my eldest child off school. He is supposed to be at a year 6 residential. It wasn't his jam. So I have brought him to Hay-on-Wye for many reasons, but mostly because he is a super book nerd. And if you are a super book nerd, there is one place in the UK that you must visit, and that's Hay-on-Wye. So that's where we are. We're staying at a friend's house. We're very cozy. We've already bought some books, bought some stationery, and we're about to go out for dinner. But firstly, I'm going to try and not freak my 11-year-old out so much that he has to sleep in the same bed as me.
Okay.
So today we're just going to do, because I've got a really big case to do next week, and I was going to hurry it to do it this week, and I don't want to rush it. I need to do it justice. Next week's episode is definitely not for you. But this week I'm going to talk about haunted hotels. So I thought I'd tell you about some haunted hotels, Ned. How are you feeling about it?
A bit nervous because I'm staying at a different place to go on a little mini holiday, but it's okay. I enjoyed your haunted castle episode, so
okay.
I think this should be quite similar.
Okay, so we're going to do the top 5, according to the internet, haunted hotels.
I'm excited.
We're going to start at number 5. I always have to apologise to people for my pronunciation. In this case, I'm not French. So if I pronounce anything French badly, I apologise. We're going to the Loire Valley in France. Château de Brissac in France. In the heart of the Loire Valley stands the towering Château de Brissac, a majestic castle, and it looks like something out of a fairy tale. It looks like the castle out of Zog and the Flying Doctors.
Really?
Yeah.
It looks like that.
Yeah. I'll show a picture of you. I won't show it a picture of you. I'll show you a picture of it later. But that's what it looks like. With a history dating back to the 11th century, it was originally constructed by the Counts of Anjou, and then it was later rebuilt in the 15th century, like the fairy tale castle it looks at like now, by Pierre de Breze, a powerful nobleman. Known as the Giant of the Loire Valley, this 7-story castle boasts 204 rooms, each steeped in history. Imagine tidying that up.
I'm glad we live in a 2-story house.
Yeah. However, amidst the grandeur and opulence, a darker story lurks within its ancient walls. In the 15th century, the castle became the scene of a tragic and haunting event. Charlotte de Breze, the illegitimate daughter of King Charles VII, and his mistress, Agnès Sorel, was married to Jacques de Breze. Now, she's illegitimate. You know what that means?
It means that she wasn't to marriage.
Yeah, she wasn't through marriage. But despite that, I think she was still a big favourite with her father.
She was from an affair.
Yes, but that was quite acceptable in some times. And so she was still a big favourite with her dad. But she marries Jacques de Breze, and they live in this castle, and they have 5 children.
5.
And that may make you think that they have a very nice marriage. However, it's far from happy. And Charlotte begins an affair with a huntsman called Pierre Laverne. So Jacques discovers Charlotte's infidelity, and on the night of the 31st of May, in a fit of rage, he actually allegedly catches them in bed together. He murders her. He definitely murders her. In some versions of the story, he murders both of them. The brutal slaying of Charlotte marked the beginning of the castle's eerie legend. He fled the castle not long after, having been tormented by both spirits that apparently kept him awake all night moaning. So now it's just Charlotte, who has become known as the Green Lady, La Dame Verte, due to the green dress she's often seen wearing, haunting the chateau. Pierre's ghost seems to have left. We don't know where it's gone. maybe he found his peace. Visitors and residents have reported spine-chilling encounters with the Green Lady. Her apparition is frequently spotted wandering the chapel and the castle's corridors, her hollow, gouged-out eyes adding to the terror that she invokes.
Sounds like a brutal death.
Yeah.
Gouged out eyes.
Not pleasant.
It sort of reminds me of another myth, which I'm not going to bang on about now. Kuchiseki Ono.
Is that the Slipmouth woman?
Yes.
Yeah.
She was caught in bed with...
Oh, was she?
Yes, and that's why her husband killed her.
I know her husband was a samurai who killed her, but I didn't, yeah. Her mournful moans echo through the halls, unsettling all those that hear them. Now, it's still, this is Haunted Hotels, this episode, and it's still a private residence. But I'm counting it as a hotel as there are a couple of rooms you can rent out as a B&B. So that's number 5 on the list. Green Lady, moaning, hollowed out eyes. Kind of spooky. Would you stay there, Ned?
I wouldn't stay there because I don't like the idea of the eyes, and also I have trouble sleeping with the sound of the house settling because I worry about being kidnapped.
I think the volume at which you listen to Stephen Fry reading Harry Potter would probably frighten her off. So I'd put my money.
Needs must.
Okay, now this one is the first haunted hotel I started researching, but you'll see why at the end I gave up. We're going to America. Well, going to Canada, to the Banff Springs Hotel, which is in Banff National Park in Alberta, Canada, and it's known for its stunning architecture and scenic surroundings. It has a long history dating back to its opening in 1888. Its original structure was made of wood and designed by a man called Bruce Price. But unfortunately, a fire designed the original structure in 1926, and it's rebuilt in 1928. It has 757 guest rooms and suites, event spaces for conferences and weddings, several dining rooms, a grand ballroom, a spa, a terrace garden.
All in all, the dream hotel. So
Like,
what
huge.
made it haunted?
That's a very loud bird, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, it was also known as Fairmont Banff Springs, and it's welcomed guests from British royalty to Marilyn Monroe, and she's actually often associated with various ghost stories and rumours of hauntings. Over the years, several stories of paranormal experiences and ghostly sightings have circulated. The Ghost Bride is probably the most famous, and it dates back to the 1920s. The story goes that a young couple get married. On their wedding day, the bride, looking beautiful in her wedding gown, descends one of the hotel's marble staircases. Something startles her. She slips and she falls. Some say she caught her heel on the hem of her dress, which can happen. Others say her dress brushed up against a candle's flame and she went up. Whatever happened, the end result is she died on the steps. Since then, hotel staff and guests alike have reported seeing a veiled figure moving up and down the stairs, or seeing a figure in a wedding dress dancing in the ballroom upstairs, pining for the first dance with her husband that she never had. Some of the alleged haunted areas within the hotel include the 9th floor, where the spirit of a former bellman, Sam Macaulay, is said to roam. He's a genial old Scotsman who was head bellman during the 60s and 70s, and he's been hanging out in the hotel since he died in 1975. Apparently, he always threatened to come back and haunt the place. And
he did.
Yeah, he's doing it.
Do what you love, people.
Yeah, he's a helpful sort of spirit. He seems to try and still provide services to staff and guests. One incident involved 2 elderly women calling the bell desk for assistance after they found their key wouldn't work. The regular bellman was occupied and didn't respond for 15 minutes. By the time he arrived, the door was unlocked, and the women said that an older bellman in a plaid jacket matching Sam's description exactly had helped them. Other stories, including guests seeing Sam haunting his old office, which is now a guest room on the mezzanine floor, as well as seeing apparitions and feeling cold spots on the 6th, 7th, and 9th floors of the hotel.
That is the most wholesome ghost I've ever heard of.
Isn't it?
Yeah, he just wants to help people.
He's just doing his job.
Yeah.
Guests and staff have claimed to see apparitions and experience strange occurrences such as objects moving on their own or unexplained noises. Guests have reported having the pillows yanked out from under their heads while they sleep, or even being pushed off the bed by some unseen entity. Other unexplained apparitions and activity have been recorded in room 873. Guests in room 873 would get greeted with violent screams in the middle of the night, which made them turn the lights on and find bloody handprint on the walls. Apparently, after years of people claiming that they were terrorized in the suite, the hotel decided to permanently seal this room. Although hotel staff claim that no such crime ever took place. The room is believed to be a place where a man killed his wife and daughter before taking his own life. Staff members say that really this was actually just done to make a larger suite rather than anything. So this is the first hotel I started researching. And then I went onto a website called Reddit, which you are too young to go on. But Reddit, basically, if there's something you're interested in, there will be other people on the internet who are interested in the same thing, and they will post comments. But it is not for 11-year-olds.
Understood.
Okay. Staff at the hotel posting on Reddit say all the ghost stories have been made up by previous members of staff. All of them. Ghost Bride, sometime in the mid-80s, that was made up by a hotel staff member. Room 873 was actually literally knocked into the next door room to make it bigger because of the way the doors to the rooms were meant that people often tried to get into the wrong door and it would annoy people in the next door room. So they just knocked the rooms together. And so none of that's true.
So none of it's true. I feel sort of sad. Ted seemed kind of nice.
Sam,
sorry. Why did I think Ted?
Ted's quite a good name for a doorman.
Yeah.
I know, but none of it's true.
I don't see why.
And then I became frustrated and disappointed with the whole haunted hotels fiasco and stopped.
You were just like researching to your best ability on haunted hotels to make a great podcast episode, and then the people of Reddit were just like,
no, you shall not. So number 3 is the only one in
England?
Yeah. The Langham Hotel. I would say very good if you like afternoon tea. You're visiting London and you want afternoon tea in a really London shishy place. The Langham Hotel is very good.
We need to go there near Halloween, Mum. We should go.
We should go.
Haunted hotel with afternoon tea.
We'd have to remortgage the house if we wanted to stay there. It's very expensive. In the heart of London stands the Langham Hotel, built between 1863 and 1865. It's in central London near Regent's Park. So if you came out of Kulu Kulu and walked straight up for about 15 minutes, you'd get there. And it's still renowned for its luxury and elegance. The hotel has hosted royalty, celebrities, dignitaries. It's appeared in numerous films, including James Bond, GoldenEye. It has a City of Westminster green plaque commemorating the August 1889 meeting between Arthur Conan Doyle, Oscar Wilde, and American editor Joseph Marshall Stoddard, who commissioned both to write for his magazine. So they had this meeting and he said, I want you both to write something for my magazine. Conan Doyle wrote The Sign of 4 and Wilde went away and wrote The Picture of Dorian Gray, which is one of his most famous.
I love Sherlock Holmes.
I think this is what made me first think maybe Ned should be involved.
Yeah, wait, so he owned the Pall Mall Gazette?
No, he didn't own the
different magazine.
Yeah, different magazine.
Ah.
Yeah, so knowledgeable. Among the hotel's many guests, it seems that some never checked out. Room 333 is infamous for its ghostly inhabitant, a Victorian-era doctor who murdered his wife and then took his own life. That sound familiar?
No. Enlighten me.
From literally the previous story.
Ah, yes.
Lots of men murdering their wives. Guests who've stayed in the room report chilling encounters, an icy presence, flickering lights, and the spectre of a man in Victorian attire standing at the foot of the bed. Now, I have seen ghost hunting videos in this. The room is tiny. So I would say anyone standing at the foot of your bed in that room would be absolutely horrible. The Doctor's ghost is not alone. The Langhams corridors are said to be haunted by a German prince who leapt to his death from a window, a former butler who continues his duties in the afterlife, and a man wandering the halls with holes in his face.
Oh, it sounds like he got messed up.
Yeah.
It sounds like Sam is part of this organization of butlers and doormen who have to continue their jobs.
Yeah.
As a
Guests have also reported seeing the ghost of Napoleon III, who lived in the hotel during his exile, but he seems to lurk in the basement, which I don't think Napoleon would do.
No, Napoleon would be unmighty. He would be pushing people out of their bedrooms.
Yeah, I don't think he'd be in the basement. One eerie night, a BBC journalist staying at the hotel awoke to find a luminous ball of light transforming into a human shape and then quickly vanishing. There's also rumours that I believe it was the English cricket team, could be wrong, could be a different cricket team, could not involve cricket at all, were staying there, and they were so terrified that they left in the middle of the night.
In the middle of the night?
Yeah, they just ran out of the hotel.
They played sport and they ran out of a hotel in pitch black.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you're a Londoner. It's not pitch black ever, is it?
It's not really.
Yeah.
Then again, that could explain the light thing with the journalist.
Well, exactly.
Nothing's for certain.
Nothing is for certain. Would you stay at the Langham?
I don't think I would. Although, I feel like I say I don't think I would to any of them. But maybe I would, because
I feel like if we put you in the Langham, you'd sleep like a baby because you'd have all the London noise that you're used to.
Okay, just not 333, please. I don't like that.
No, I think everyone says the third floor is a bit sinister.
Yeah.
And I read an article with a journalist who stayed there, and they said they wanted to be in room 333, and the person behind the desk looked visibly upset.
If I'm going to go to any of the haunted hotels, the only person I want coming into my room is Sam.
I know, maybe tuck you in. Still probably a bit eerie. So we're on haunted hotel number 2.
Number 2, we're getting...
Yep, getting there, and then we'll go and eat a burger. The Queen Mary in Long Beach, California.
Another California one.
Mm-hmm.
They have a lot of haunted hotels.
Moored in Long Beach, California, the Queen Mary is a retired British ocean liner turned hotel with the reputation for being one of the most haunted places in the world. Launched in 1936, it was a luxurious cruise ship before it became a troop ship during World War II, earning the nickname the Grey Ghost. After the war, it became a passenger service until it was retired in 1967, and now it is moored and it is
a hotel. Wow, that's sort of cool. Although I don't think I'd be able to sleep on it with the swaying and the thought of all the people who might have died on it.
Dad would love it.
Dad would love it. Dad's a sailor.
Yeah, loves a boat.
But not me.
However, it's not just the ship's storied history that fascinates visitors. The Queen Mary is said to be home to numerous spirits, the most famous being Jackie, a young girl who allegedly drowned in the ship's pool during its sailing days. Her laughter and cries for her mother can be heard echoing around the pool area, despite it being closed and empty for decades. Some people have also seen shadows, which look like they're jumping or diving into the pool, even though the pool is obviously empty. In the ship's engine room, known as Door 13, a crewman was tragically crushed during a drill. His ghost is often seen in overalls wandering the corridors. Room B340, another notorious hotspot, is so haunted that the hotel stopped renting it out for years. Guests have reported violent incidents such as bed covers being yanked off and lights turning on and off by themselves.
Classic ghost.
Classic ghost. One thing, again on Reddit, I was having a look, and lots of people, because you can go on and have a sort of ghost tour, or you can go on and just have a tour round, because obviously it's quite interesting. Have a boat. There's a hotel that was also in World War II.
Maybe if the podcast is well enough, we can go and do these things.
Yeah, we'll go have a look. Lots of people say that they felt really exhausted and like they had vertigo.
Even if they were standing on the floor.
Yeah. So they say that there are certain areas on the boat where you feel like you've got vertigo.
That's creepy.
Which is creepy, but one thing about paranormal stuff is people say it's got a lot to do with electromagnetic fields.
Yes, those are similar to auras, aren't they?
Well, so it's
energetic.
So, like, if you're standing somewhere where there's a lot of electric, like if you're standing next to a fuse box in a house,
you sort of feel the energy.
Yeah, and so one thing that's really important to do is if people are constantly saying, "Oh, when I go into the kitchen," or "When I go into the," I feel
you should
like
check that there isn't anything that's causing that.
Yes, so I wonder if. I don't know how the ship is.
There's an engine underneath or something.
Yeah, so that I'm suspicious about that.
I felt a bit sad when I heard about Jackie because whenever I hear someone laughing and then crying out, it's just
sinister, isn't it?
Yeah, it's sad.
So the paranormal activity on the boat has attracted ghost hunters enthusiasts from around the world. That you can watch people ghost hunt on it on YouTube. Please don't do that; you're too young.
I'm not going to do that.
And some have recorded EVPs, so electronic voice phenomena of men speaking in German. So one thing I have with ghost hunts is that with spiritualists or things like that, is they'll be like, "Oh, there's a woman here and she says blah 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 blah," but they're always speaking English, and you think, well,
how many English people are there really?
Yes, whereas this is men speaking in German.
Which would make sense because that used to be a warship in World War II.
Yes, but we don't know if any Germans ever went on there.
Yes, but they could have.
They could have.
They could have.
Most people report feeling uneasy and like the vertigo that I was saying.
Mm-hmm.
Right, number one.
We're here.
We're here, we've made it.
We have arrived.
The Stanley Hotel in Colorado. Nestled in Colorado, the Stanley Hotel is a grand structure with a rich history dating back to its opening in 1909. The hotel gained worldwide fame as the inspiration for Stephen King's novel, The Shining, which you are also too young to read, and it's known for its ghostly residents. One of the things I'm very excited about is when you are old enough to watch The Shining and when you're old enough to watch Sleepy Hollow.
Mum really wants me to watch Sleepy Hollow when I'm old enough. She thinks it's very good.
I know that loads of your friends have probably already watched it, but
I know I don't understand why kids do that.
Well, because I just think that you can't go back.
You can't go back. Have some years of innocence.
Yeah, exactly. One of the most famous apparitions is that of Flora Stanley, who's wife of the hotel's founder, and she's often heard playing the piano in the lobby.
Oh.
Guests and staff have reported hearing melodies filling the air even when no one is present at the piano.
Sort of creepy, but
maybe quite nice.
Right? Yeah, maybe she's been playing a really nice song.
Room 217, where Stephen King stayed, is notorious for paranormal activity.
Every hotel has one room.
Exactly, and The Shining has one room. Well, I mean, the whole thing of The Shining is horrendous, but there is one room in particular that is no. It's very much a no.
I mean, if you feel like that, I'm not watching it because you.
I read the book of The Shining when I was on a flight back from Ibiza with your dad. I was in between your dad and our friend Charlie. Both of them were asleep. The flight, it must have been about 1 a.m. And so when you go on a flight overnight, they dim the lights. So everyone was asleep. Ibiza is a big party place. I don't sleep on planes. So I was reading The Shining. So I was reading The Shining on a plane full of people, and I still was so scared. That's how scary that book is. That's how brilliantly written it is. But I always think, God, I was still scared, even though I was on an EasyJet flight back from Ibiza, filled with snoring people.
I mean, that's the opposite to a haunted hotel in a horror movie. Is it a movie or... You said
it's a book, and then they made it into one of the most, I'd say, arguably one of the most famous horror movies. So I would always say, I mean, I watched the film before I read the book, It's one of the few where I think both are equally good.
Did it scare you? Did you get scared enough that you had to do what you did when you read? What did you read where you had to stay in your parents' bedroom?
Numerous things. When I was about your age, I used to get books, paranormal books out of the local library.
You told me about one though.
Yeah.
It was like, it wasn't Frankenstein, was it?
No, I got a vampire one out. That was a problem.
Oh, was it Nosferatu?
No, it was non-fiction. That was the problem.
No, poor you.
Oh, I know. So that was the problem. So a lot of non-fiction. And then I watched the film Halloween. I was on the floor of my parents' room for about 3 weeks. I mean, we had a system in place. I was on their floor all the time. So guests have reported their belongings being mysteriously unpacked or moved, lights turning on and off, and the faint sound of children laughing and playing in the halls.
Oh, that's so creepy.
Mm.
Hold on, I think I remember you or Dad mentioning in a Modern Family episode a reference to The Shining. In like an episode where they stayed at B&B. Not B&B. They went on holiday for Christmas at a cabin.
Probably.
I can't remember. Anyway, it doesn't matter. So back to the thing. What were you saying?
So once you've seen The Shining, you'll see that it's referenced in everything. So some guests have even claimed to see the ghost of Elizabeth Wilson, a former housekeeper, and she goes in and tidies the room. So you're right. We've basically got a haunted hotel staff going on now.
Yeah, it's a whole organization.
If we could get them all together, we'd be able to create like a haunted hotel attraction. Nobody in their right mind would want to say.
Yeah, but they would all be civil. They wouldn't be like the people dragging people's sheets off them. They'd
be tucking people in.
Yeah, they'd be like, okay, here's your evening tea.
In the hotel's concert hall, the spirit of a worker named Paul is said to linger. His presence is felt through cold spots and the sound of footsteps, and he's known to enforce the hotel's curfew by telling guests, "Get out!" Which...
I mean, someone has to do it.
I think if someone told you to get out, you'd probably...
I think you
would be so freaky, wouldn't it?
Just leave the hotel, though.
The Stanley Hotel's combination of historical charm and supernatural phenomena make it a captivating destination for those seeking both luxury and a glimpse into the paranormal. Finally, Ned, would you stay at the Stanley Hotel?
I don't know, because I know that it was based on a horror book and then a horror movie, which makes me think...
It was the basis for...
I mean, if it can be that scary, just give you those ideas by itself, I would probably not stay there.
No, that's a good point.
I would probably stay at any of the other hotels if I, like, on a good day, maybe if I got a huge bar of chocolate from someone, I would, like, I can be easily
bribed
bought.
with chocolate.
I can be easily bought.
Mm-hmm.
I would go to any of the hotels as long as I don't have to stay in any of the rooms. Because there's always a room that is 10 times worse than all the other rooms. So I think I would be okay, but I wouldn't go to any of the particularly haunted inspirational ones, basically. They have given people ideas that have terrified millions of people.
Thank you for listening to Haunted Hotels. You can get loads of extra episodes on
Patreon.
That's the one. And you can find everything on social media. Can you remember the sign-off, Ned? Until next time, be kind.
Stay safe.
And always check the back seat before you drive.